I don't care about you. I just want your vote.
I'm so upset. Oh my God.
Welcome to the Young Turks. Cenk Uygur, Jordan Uhl with you guys. Look, every day we come in a slightly different mood, or at least I do, because partly of what's in the news, right? And today, disastrous things are in the news. And so I'm so mad about the starvation going on in Gaza that I can't see straight. I'm going to say some super harsh things on this show, and it is well deserved by Israel. Well deserved. It's also well deserved by every liar, propagandist in mainstream media, bigots, racist, almost all of them. They think Muslim lives don't matter at all. That Israeli feelings are worth 1,000 Palestinian babies. That's our mainstream media. They're sick people. They're very disgusting people. So I got a lot more where that came from. Okay. So yes, we're of course going to talk about domestic politics and Trump and all that. And then at some point in this first hour, Jordan and I once had a debate. Jordan, get ready for this, buckle up, brace for impact. I'm going to admit that you were right, okay? So you have that to look forward to. Okay, which debate was it? What was it about? Well, you're gonna find out later in this hour.
All of them.
Yeah. Okay, all right, so let's get started.
Take a look at this.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former
the evidence,
President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment.
A day after Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard made clear that the administration would consider prosecuting Obama and other members of his administration, the Department of Justice has announced the formation of a strike force to potentially follow through. As we've covered on the show already, Gabbard and the Trump administration are trying to accuse Obama of treason for, they claim, manipulating information about Russia's role in the 2016 election. But none of the declassified documents Tulsi has released actually appear to prove wrongdoing. Nonetheless, they're going full steam ahead. The Justice Department released a statement saying today, the Department of Justice announced the formation of a strike force to assess the evidence publicized by DNI Tulsi Gabbard and investigate potential next legal steps, which might stem from DNI Gabbard's disclosures. This department takes alleged weaponization of the intelligence community with the utmost seriousness. Attorney General Pam Bondi added, the Department of Justice is proud to work with my friend, Director Gabbard, and we are grateful for her partnership in delivering accountability for the American people. We will investigate these troubling disclosures fully and leave no stone unturned to deliver justice. Now, Senators Lindsey Graham and John Cornyn are calling on Pam Bondi to appoint a special counsel to investigate Barack Obama and senior members of his administration. But the administration's massive accusations of coups and treason are so absurd that many other conservatives are pouring cold water on them already. Before we get to that though, Cenk, what do you think of this? Do you think anything will become of this DOJ strike force?
Yeah, at first I was almost amused by it because it's such an absurd proposition. And I'm gonna break down for you guys in just a little bit in this video why there's absolutely no merit to this. It's a joke. Tulsi Gabbard is the biggest fraud. She's one of the most dishonest, disgusting people I've seen in American politics. Okay, let me be super clear about it. Because she knows with 100% certainty that she's lying about this. I'm no longer amused. These people are sick, okay? This is, of course, a distraction, trying to be a distraction from the Epstein files. But the fact that people in our government lie with this kind of ease, these kind of enormous lies, should be greatly disturbing to all of us. But it's, I don't know, maybe I'm too idealistic, but I would love one representative, one who is not a giant liar, who doesn't make up things all the time and try to drive us apart. So now they're trying to rile up MAGA. Hate Obama, he's treason, go get him. There's no bigger critic of Obama on the left than me. Obama's done 1,000 things wrong, and I can tell you exactly what he did wrong. But this ain't one of them. This is super stupid. And if you're, look, I know, nobody listens, everybody's tribal, I got it, right? And again, I'm exaggerating here because I'm pissed. I think there are people in the middle, I think they do get moved, etc. But if you're among the tribalists and you're a right-wing tribalist on this and say, I don't care about facts, no, Obama's guilty, okay? You don't know anything and you don't care. You don't care, you just want my tribe, I hate your tribe, okay? So in a minute, I'm gonna break down why I'm so angry. Because this is junk, total, utter junk. So go ahead, Jordan.
Yes, of course. So in response to Tulsi Gabbard's so-called bombshell, the National Review and the Wall Street Journal, both conservative papers, have published editorials rejecting her conclusions. National Review was still pretty generous in their assessment, agreeing with the administration that Trump was the victim of one of the most insidious dirty tricks in American political history. The Clinton campaign used the bogus Steele dossier to manufacture the Trump-Russia collusion narrative. Obama administration officials picked up this story and ran with it. But they write, Trump and Gabbard go further, treating the accurate portion of the Democratic narrative as though it too were a fiction. Russia did indeed try, however ineffectively, to interfere in the election. Trump CIA Director John Radcliffe has attested to it. They also agreed with right-wing claims that Obama abused his power in an effort to undermine Trump, but conceded that those who would argue that this abuse of power constitutes a crime should remember that Trump and his team have avidly proclaimed that presidents must have immunity from criminal prosecution for acts within the broad ambit of executive power. They conclude, we have had enough, more than enough lawfare. A similar argument to the one made by conservatives at the Wall Street Journal. Some Republicans on cable news are dismissing Trump's treason accusations too, including lawyer and Fox News contributor Andy McCarthy. Take a look.
There's no doubt that Obama was complicit up to his neck in what I think was the worst political dirty trick in American history. The issue narrowly is whether there's any crime that comes out of that under circumstances where, even President Trump spent all of 2024 telling people that presidents have to have complete immunity from prosecution, and this all happened 9 years ago. Look, they're throwing around the word treason the last couple of days, which is preposterous because treason is making war on the United States or aiding our wartime enemies, which obviously didn't happen here.
But today, Tulsi doubled down, this time hilariously claiming that Obama is guilty of treason for obstructing a peaceful transition of power. Take a look.
When we look at our democratic republic, Charlie, our system is built on the foundation of the American people casting their votes for who they want to be in office, to be our president and commander in chief. In this system, there is to be a peaceful transition of power. What we saw play out here was President Trump was elected by the American people in 2016, shocking most people in the United States and apparently even Russia, and Putin didn't think that he would win. Instead of accepting that this is the will of the people, what we saw is President Obama convening his national security team and concocting this contrived false narrative through the production of this intelligence community assessment in January 2017 with the specific intent of subverting the will of the American people and trying to delegitimize President Trump's election, and therefore everything that he had been charged to do by the American people over the next 4 years. So yes, this is a treasonous conspiracy that subverts the will of the American people.
Jank, what do you make of this? It seems like there's nothing that Tulsi won't say if it helps her politically, professionally, personally.
Okay, 3 things to start with and then the heart of the case. I'm super proud that Young Turks was the show that first exposed what a fraud Tulsi Gabbard is. That's back when she was pretending to be a progressive, and we told you guys, she's not a progressive. She's a giant fraud. A lot of people were angry at the time. They thought, oh no, I trust Tulsi more than the Young Turks. How'd that turn out, okay? Told you, giant fraud. All she wants is power. She's willing to say anything to get it. And she knows none of this is true. Okay, point number 2, as you pointed out, Jordan. So Trump said, oh, the president should get to do whatever he wants, take home national secrets, order. They even said in the Supreme Court, they asked them, can the president order SEAL Team 6 to murder a political opponent? And they were like, could be. And the Supreme Court's like, you guys are right. The president should be totally immune, which was outrageous. It's outrageous when Trump is immune. It's outrageous when Obama's immune. There's an actual thing you can go after Obama on, which I'll get to in a little bit. I don't want immunity. I don't want immunity for any of them. But you asked for immunity. You asked for total blanket immunity. So now, are you going to say, no, only Trump should have immunity, but no other president should? And they probably will, because they don't care about principles. They don't care about anything. There's no ideology. There's just a naked power grab, right? So, okay, now let's go to the heart of it. By the way, okay, so here, I'll say it. So a lot of people wrote in, and they're right because we say it on the air all the time. We said it when Obama was in charge, we say it now. Liz Smith is a YouTube member, said, I think Obama should be in jail too, but for extrajudicially killing American citizens. See, now that's a smart point made by a lot of our members, also on Twitch, Octo Squiddies, Green New Dealer Dragon. They're all making the same point. So if you wanted to go after Obama, the thing that you would focus on is he ordered extrajudicial killings of American citizens. Those are the drone strikes on Anwar al-Awlaki, and by the way, on a 16-year-old son and 8-year-old daughter in 3 separate killings, okay? But the CIA tells us it was all a coincidence. Yeah, maybe, or maybe they're covering up again, right? And Obama, what he did there was outrageous. So does it look like I'm defending Obama? No, but why won't they go after Obama on the real thing, on the drone strikes? Because they do drone strikes. Why don't they go after Obama for going outside of due process? Because they go after due process. Why didn't the Democrats go after Biden for not releasing the Epstein files? Because he's a Democrat. Why didn't the Republican politicians, at least some of them are now because of their base rebelling, but 98% of them are, oh, Daddy Trump. When the Democrats are in charge, I want the Epstein files. We're in charge, oh, no Epstein files, right? So I'm sick of the liars in our government. So the heart of this case, so everyone agrees that Russia interfered in the 2016 election. If you're gonna get mad, Tulsi, and you're a right winger, Tulsi Gabbard said that in this cycle of news. She's like, yes, of course, Russia did interfere. Every Republican agrees. Every Republican in the Intelligence Committee, including acting chairman Marco Rubio. So Russia interfered in the 2016 election. Okay, second thing everybody agrees on, including all Democrats, is that Trump and Russia were not colluding. So good, we solved it. Russia tried to interfere, but Trump didn't work with them. And that's a big win for Trump and the Republicans. Not good enough. No. So what are we gonna do? Her case is, even though we all agree on that and she doesn't dispute that, she says the reason that Obama should be convicted of treason, and by the way, if you're convicted of treason, we kill you. So she's saying the former president should be killed by the United States government. Why? Because of these 2 super important things. One is that Putin was not pro-Trump. He was anti-Hillary. Wow, what a big distinction. You really? That's what you're resting all this junk on? No. They said that he was pro-Trump, but he wasn't pro-Trump. He was just trying to hurt Hillary in the campaign. That's why he hacked into her emails, left Trump's emails alone, right? And that's why he put all this damaging information about Hillary, and he planned to damage her after the election by making it seem the election was illegitimate. So he was anti-Hillary, and who's Hillary running against? Oh yeah, Donald Trump. But he wasn't pro-Trump, so treason. I can't even understand that distinction, but that distinction is treason? What are you talking about? Okay, then the second thing she hangs her hat on is Russia did not hack in to the voting booths, and they did not hack the vote. Who said they did? Show me one time Barack Obama, or really any elected Democrat, ever said the Russians hacked in to the voting system. Nobody says that. The intelligence report doesn't say that. The Democrats don't say that. So they just made it up. They're like, oh yeah, Obama was saying that the Russians were hacking into this. He didn't say that. You're a giant liar. So this is just absolutely nothing. And they're saying, yeah, but we should kill a former president over this. Disgusting, sick people. So, and if you're MAGA and you're like, I don't understand, why do people not like Trump? These are among the very valid reasons why people don't like Trump, because he makes up crap that doesn't make any sense. He's super extreme, and instead of going after things that are real, he's like, my feelings have to be protected, and nobody should talk about the Epstein files now that everybody knows I'm in them. So that's why all of you go protect me. So what, I was great pals with a pedophile, and maybe or maybe not I was participating in it, but you all go protect me and kill Obama because Putin was anti-Hillary but not pro-Trump. That's why we hate him.
Yeah, I want to touch on a couple things here. I mean, the Tulsi flip-flop, I mean, she has done this multiple times, but I want to point out how, yes, TYT in the audience was early, but people in Hawaii very early were pointing out how she was a fraud. Many progressives, advocates, activists on the ground in Hawaii were warning about Tulsi not being a true progressive. And I feel bad for the Bernie campaign that they didn't recognize that. I think there's plenty of things you can criticize every campaign for, but I think talent selection is something that has plagued the Bernie campaigns in both cycles, sadly. And then just this idea that Obama should go to or be under criminal prosecution for supporting this endeavor, when you, like you say, there are many things I'd like to see Obama face repercussions for, but none of those seem to break from Republican priorities. I mean, this is a guy who ultimately let bankers off the hook for the financial collapse. Like you're saying, there's extrajudicial killings, violation of due process. They were spying on journalists for years. There are plenty of things to dislike Obama for, but the problem is when you ultimately have a uniparty in this country, they're all doing the same things. And it's also why it's so tough to get any progress or real momentum on getting money out of politics, because both parties benefit from it. When both parties are culpable, no one's going to be held to account. So it's a very frustrating thing.
Yeah, last thing on this is that I'm really glad you said what you said, Jordan, because where did Anna find the material that led her to believe that Tulsi was not at all on the left and was not at all progressive? She was basically, she had no ideology, mainly right wing, but was willing to say anything and everything to get to power. Well, she did research her record and her legislative votes, her comments, etc. But she also researched what she did in Hawaii. The people on the ground in Hawaii, if you thought you didn't make a difference by pointing out all of Tulsi's hypocrisies, you're wrong, you did, and thank you. Because of not just grassroots in Hawaii, but good reporting in Hawaii, Anna was able to find what Tulsi Gabbard actually believes, what her record actually was, and that's what led her to believe that she was a fraud. So, guys, you make a difference. Sometimes it starts as a ripple, ends up as a wave or even a tsunami, right? So go do good journalism, go be involved in the grassroots. And so that's a lot of how independent media finds out about what's actually happening. If we relied on mainstream media, we wouldn't know a thing. So So I'm proud of the work we did there, but I'm even more proud of the wonderful people in Hawaii who were trying to point this out to everyone, and no one was listening to them. So you were right all along, and thank God that you pointed that out. Okay, let's take a break here, guys. And when we come back, first I'm gonna light into Meghan McCain. She's of course a contemptible fool. Then I'm gonna light into Columbia, my alma mater, as humiliating as that is now. And I'm gonna tell you something that nobody else is telling you about Columbia, okay? Oh, poor little Columbia, my ass. And then the starvation story. All right, we'll be back. Back on TYT. Balk says, I wasn't a fan, this is super chat. I wasn't a fan of the lawfare when it was against Trump, and I don't like it against Obama either. It's all counterproductive nonsense. Thank you for at least being principled, brother. YTP Renewed said, is Russia interfering better than China via TikTok? Trump is the one that says TikTok should be around. And they all say that China's interfering through TikTok. So is Trump committing treason? Hold on, we haven't gotten to the mother lode yet. We're talking about foreign governments interfering in our elections. Are you guys aware of some lobbies with the name Israel in it? And how they have purchased our Congress more than any other PAC, more than any other lobby in this cycle? But that doesn't count. That's not interference. That's not treason. When almost all of our congressmen represent Israel. When both Democratic and Republican presidents represent Israel, because for both Biden and Trump, the Israeli lobby was their #1 donor in their careers. But that's not treason. That's not treason. But Russia, saying that Russia was anti-Hillary, no, pro-Trump instead of anti-Hillary, that's treason? Okay, all right. They should be super careful about that word treason. And talking about governments that interfere with our government. They should be super goddamn careful about that, but they're not being careful at all. So later, when you think there won't be a moment when this whole country realizes that Israel's been interfering in our elections for the last 50 years at a minimum? You think that's not gonna happen? That is going to happen. It's in the middle of happening right now. So then when you say, okay, was that treason? Everyone will lose their minds. They'll lose their minds. And all the Trump people saying this is treason now will be like, how dare you anti-Semites, right? What happened? You want to talk about interfering in elections? And this is an undeniable fact. The Israeli lobby in America interferes with elections more than any other country by a landslide. And by the way, it isn't treason. It isn't. Neither one is treason. Okay. Burning says Obama should be nervous because the Trump administration is not rational. Oh, you don't say that they're not rational. Anyway, Burning, you're right. Michael Malbon says at least the Uniparty is at war with itself now, kind of. But what? Did they stop the giant tax cuts for the rich? No, of course not. They got the tax cuts anyway, right? They always get everything they want. Did they get deregulation for crypto? Yes. They get deregulation for all other industries? Yes. So the Uniparty always wins. This is all to get us mad at one another. Aaron says, no more distractions, we want the files. You won't get them. Trisha Briggs says, I'm with you, Cenk. The news today about Gaza is infuriating. The Project for Progress says, Cenk, be honest, do you think your book is capable of breaking someone out of a 40-year thick mainstream media bubble? I want to gift it to my aunt for her birthday because I think it's my best shot. Also, can you get Jon Stewart on the show? Brother, I've been trying to get Jon Stewart on the show. I've been trying to talk to Jon Stewart. I talked to him once. Anyway, thank you for the point about the book. I hope so. back on TYT, Cenk and Jordan with you guys, and also Danny Tamara. Danny, thanks for joining by hitting the button below. CDN Norse Dog Dad, thank you for gifting a membership on YouTube. Jack Callahan, who's a member on TYT.com, says Anna was killer on Piers Morgan. Thank you, Jack, appreciate it. She was. We'll have that up on TYT.com/press soon if we don't already have it up. And what I love about that is the Israeli supporters are like, do you see how she's really upset about a genocide? Ha ha, she's crazy. Yeah, keep spreading that clip around. Yep, no, we do see it and we love it, okay? By the way, buckle up, brace for impact. Soon, Anna on Tucker Carlson's show. So, we don't care who catches feelings. We're gonna do the news here and we're gonna talk to anybody who can stop the slaughter in Israel, and we're gonna try to make that happen, okay? And if people catch feelings over that, I don't give a goddamn about it. Okay, Jordan, what's next?
Take a look at this.
Dr. Gabbard, you referenced the past intelligence reports and assessments on this, including that 2017 one that was signed off, as Ed noted, by every Republican on the Senate Intelligence Community, including the acting chair of the time, now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said in a statement that they did not find any evidence of Russian collusion, but they did find, however, is very troubling, and they found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling. One, are you saying that he's wrong in that statement that he made then? And secondly, what would you say to people who believe that you're only releasing these documents now to improve your standing with the president after he said that your intelligence assessments were wrong?
CNN's Kaitlan Collins is getting pushback from an unlikely foe for asking those two very challenging questions during a White House press briefing yesterday. Cenk, we're going to listen to DNI Tulsi Gabbard and Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt's response in a second, but what do you make of those questions?
Yeah, so that was as good a question as I've seen at the White House. So thank you. Man, journalism broke out for a minute there. As always with any mainstream media reporter, I've had critiques in the past, etc. But what we do on this show is discredit where discredit is owed, and that's the norm, that's the rule. But when there's an exception and credit is due, we give credit. Kaitlan Collins, excellent question. So I wish the powerful would be challenged like that more often. So of course, Meghan McCain is gonna step in to try to protect the powerful instead, because she's a dumbass and she's corrupt and she's a terrible human being. So take that away.
Yeah, just hours after this press briefing, Meghan McCain, a former Gabbard critic turned bestie, railed against Collins for doing her job as a reporter. Posting this on X, Kaitlan Collins is an absolute imbecile and pure partisan hack. That Meghan is a mirror. Have some respect for the two women standing in front of you who are exposing lies, deep corruption, and keeping the country safe. The White House should pool her credentials. Now, if you remember, Meghan McCain used to be very critical of Gabbard, suggesting she was an apologist for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad on The View back in 2019. But eventually, the two became besties and have pretty much been inseparable. Last year, McCain posted this to X. This woman is actively serving as a lieutenant colonel in the army and has put her life on the line for all of us. The baseless slander is not only abhorrent, but it's unpatriotic. Shame on all of you trafficking in these lies. America will be safer with her in the cabinet. And she also gushed about her on Michael Malice's You're Welcome podcast a few months ago. Take a look.
One of the things we really bond over is people really love us, but people also really hate us. And we both feel like misunderstood, I think, by the media and have been really targeted for all the wrong reasons. And we really bonded over that. And she's just like, I feel very privileged that I get to have this kind of relationship with her because she doesn't let a lot of people close to her. And she's just funny and fun and kind. And I can always rely on her when it doesn't matter. Like she's like been in India and Thailand and traveling right now. And I can still text her. I had something happen that I need her advice on. She'll always text me back. Like she's just kind and like, she makes me feel really safe and seen, which I think is a hard thing in any friendship. And I love her very much. And I really regret ever being mean to her.
Okay, sure. It's natural to defend your best friend when it's justified. But what exactly did Collins do to piss McCain off so much? Well, let's watch a bit of the press briefing to see what happened. Take a look.
The Senate Intelligence Committee has a very different function than the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. The evidence and the intelligence that has been declassified and released is irrefutable.
As for your second question, Kaitlan, I think who is saying that she would release this to try to boost her standing with the president? Who has said that? Well, the president has publicly undermined her when it came to Iran. He said she was wrong. He told me that she didn't know what she was talking about. That was on Air Force One on camera. The only people who are suggesting that the Director of National Intelligence would release evidence to try to boost her standing with the president are the people in this room who constantly try to sow distrust and chaos amongst the president's cabinet, and it is not working. I will just answer your question directly. I am with the President of the United States every day. He has the utmost confidence in Director Gabbard. He always has. He continues to, and that is true of his entire cabinet, who is all working as one team to deliver on the promises this president made.
To be clear, Kaitlan Collins isn't wrong. Trump did undermine Tulsi Gabbard. Take a look.
I think within a matter of weeks, or certainly within a matter of months, they're going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. We can't let that happen.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
But somehow, Collins is in the wrong for actually pushing the administration to answer tough questions. Cenk.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot to point out here. Let's start with the standard stuff. The White House should pull her credentials, said the person pretending to be in favor of free speech. Oh, the Democrats are terrible. They won't let us say racist things. Oh, the Democrats hate free speech. Oh, she said something that's undeniably true about the beloved president and beloved Tulsi Gabbard. Get her out of there. Cancel her. Oops, there's cancel culture. There's your, never believed in freedom of speech. They only believed in their speech, not anyone else's speech. Okay, so let's be clear about that. Now let's move on to this particular story. I mean, speaking of imbeciles and pure partisan hacks, I mean, Meghan, that's embarrassing projection. You're talking about yourself, and only a hack, a partisan hack, would say that, oh, I can't believe that's such a bad question. Is Tulsi Gabbard trying to make up and get into Donald Trump's good graces by doing the thing that the two things Donald Trump cares most about: distract people from the Epstein files and obsess about past elections and hating Barack Obama and being better than Barack Obama. That's a gift wrap for Donald Trump. Everybody knows that's what the egomaniac wants, right? And why do you have to do that? Because you accidentally told the truth once and said that Iran wasn't close to having the bomb. And he was like, oh, I don't like that. Tulsi told the truth. Boo, I hate Tulsi now. She's like, no, I'll make up for it. I'll make up outrageous lies and say we should kill Obama for treason based on those preposterous lies, right? Trump's like, me likey. Back to good. Like, hey, Meghan, we have eyes. We're all seeing it, okay? So who the hell do you think you are? You think we're gonna trick everyone? We saw Trump call out Tulsi. We saw him trying to get past the Epstein files with distractions. And now here comes Tulsi with the largest distraction you've ever seen in your life. Former President Obama committed treason. And okay, so what she said in that little answer there, Tulsi did, she said that our evidence is irrefutable. Well, part of that is true. It's irrefutable because no one has refuted it. There's no actual disagreement. She says, well, the Russians didn't hack into our system. Good news, Obama didn't say that. The Democrats didn't say that. No one said that. You just made that up. You made it, The evidence says the Russians didn't hack. Who said it? Who said the Russians hacked into the actual vote? Show me one quote of Obama saying that. Go ahead, show me one single quote of Obama saying that. You can't, because you're a giant liar. And of course, since Meghan McCain is a giant liar, she's like, oh, my lying buddy. And by the way, you guys wanna know why they kissed and made up? It has nothing to do with any of this. Because before, Tulsi was met with Bashar al-Assad and was on the side of the Syrians and the Russians who were opposed to Israel. Now she's on the side of Israel. So, oh, Tulsi's such a good friend. Come here, oh yes. Israel first is united again. Okay, good, enjoy her. Israel first, enjoy her. That's who Meghan McCain is. So look, all the Israel first guys, what do I mean by Israel first? The people who think the only issue that matters is Israel. Like protecting Israel is so a billion times more important than protecting Americans, American citizens, any other issue. Should we have paid family leave? Should we have higher wages, lower drug prices? No, Israel. Anybody criticizes Israel, they should be fired and canceled. That's why I'm against cancel culture. Yeah. Giant hypocrites. But you know, we should stop talking about Meghan McCain because she's totally useless. She's a former senator's daughter. Who cares? She used to be on The View. Who cares? We don't care about the people on The View now. Why would we care about ex-host of The View? Gee, I wonder what Elizabeth Hasselbeck thinks. Who cares? We should all stop paying attention to Meghan McCain. She's an irrelevant loser.
Yeah, well, as somebody who had a crush on Elizabeth Hasselbeck when she was on Survivor when I was a teenager, I still care what she has to say. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous where Meghan McCain is now relative to where she was when her dad was alive and when she was an anti-Trumper. Like the 180 has been ridiculous. Like, does she think about what she's saying and doing? How she, as somebody who has benefited solely from being his daughter, rode the coattails of nepotism into all of these positions. Now all of a sudden it's, yeah, you should revoke a reporter's press credentials. Yeah, Obama should go to jail. Yeah, there's no way, nothing. Nobody in the administration would ever do something publicly that is a blatant lie to curry favor with Donald Trump. Like, listen to yourself. Who are you? Not that I ever held much respect for her, but even before that, before Trump, she was writing all of these books with like, bipartisan centrist messaging about how we need to come together. You're on the fringes now. You've totally abandoned not just your family and everything your dad fought for, but who you claimed to be just 10 years ago. She's a laughingstock.
Yeah, I agree so much that I'm not going to say anything more about that irrelevant loser. Okay,
well,
you know what? Let's take the break. Let's take the break. When we come back, light into Colombia and then their best friend, Israel. Back on TYT. Cerberus Dragon says, Jenk Unleashed. I'm here for it. Let's go TYT fam. Thank you, brother. Hedgehog Dragon says, Jordan off mic. Honey, get the camera. Jenk said I was right. Next TYT reporter. Obama has presidential immunity granted to him by the Supreme Court in a ruling where they tried to protect Donald Trump. This investigation will go nowhere. That is certainly true. Embedded dude, TYT is beginning to get noticed. Yeah, I mean, for better and for worse, right, brother? And if you want to know if someone's actually challenging power, look at how many times they're attacked and by how many sides, okay? If someone you're following has never been attacked, that means they haven't ruffled one feather, not one feather, okay? Helen 007 says, Anna was on fire in Piers Morgan. That's how every genocide denier needs to be handled. When Piers is even admitting it's a genocide, there's only the bottom of the bottom denying it. Yeah, she was great in that appearance. So let's go to Twitch. Gilday 1 says, thank you TYT Network. Really appreciate you speaking the truth. Listener for 10 plus years, 4+ years subscriber. Thank you, I can't appreciate you enough. So as much as we are under constant siege by every part of the political spectrum, right? And every part of media. We're just as much supported by our viewers and our members. And I love you guys for it. I love that you care about what's true. I love that you're open-minded and that you care about the world. So thank you guys, can't thank you enough. Danger About 17 says, I watched Superman last night and was amazed at how much of that reminded me of the crap that's happening in America and the world right now, especially the Israel-Palestinian situation. Totally get why the right is calling it woke Superman now. Look, I have a lot of thoughts about that, and I know some people are dissatisfied with the movie for a couple of different reasons, but no, not me. I thought the movie was interesting overall. Yeah, it had its flaws as a movie, but it was exciting, fun, different. But most importantly, I loved it because of what they said about Israel-Palestine. I mean, they didn't call it Israel and Palestine, but it was super obvious. And Superman, here, I'll do a tiny bit of spoiler, you'll see it in the beginning anyway. Superman goes to save Palestine. And they put up, the Palestinian kid puts up a flag for Superman and to come rescue them. And what's really sad about the real world is that no one comes to rescue the Palestinians. There is no Superman. There is no truth, justice in the American way. America's not coming unless we're dropping bombs on their heads. And nobody from Europe is coming. Nobody's coming to help the Palestinians at all. Because Israel has too much power. So the dogs that are our leaders, the worst of us, not the best of us, the very worst of us are in charge, and they all bow down to Israel. And don't tell me they're not bowing down to Israel when Israel is right in front of our eyes, starving children to death. And they're all like, yeah, but I get money. I don't want to be called an anti-Semite. Beloved Israel. Monsters, they're all monsters. All right, we'll be back. All right, back on TYT, Cenk Jordan, HWF2211, that's their handle, and they just joined through YouTube. Appreciate you. You could also join through our website where you get a couple months off for annual membership and you get all of our content anytime you want, tyt.com/join. All right, join, Jordan.
Take a look at this.
Worried with this of a precedent that this sets, that this proves that the Trump administration's strategy of weaponizing research funding works, and that this will lead them to do this more often, not less?
I can tell you, first of all, I am confident in the agreement we struck. We worked, again, on every word. So I am confident it does not cross our lines that were essential to us. Of course, I'm aware of the atmosphere in which we, are and were talking to the federal government and what other institutions are facing.
Another shakedown in the books, this time with Columbia University, and we've got the details. Columbia University has agreed to pay $200 million over the next 3 years to resolve claims it discriminated against Jewish students. An agreement the university said will restore hundreds of millions of dollars in federal grants the Trump administration had terminated or paused earlier this year. As part of the agreement, the university won't be required to admit any wrongdoing, but in a statement, it did add, the institution's leaders have recognized repeatedly that Jewish students and faculty have experienced painful, unacceptable incidents, and that reform was and is needed. Now, Cenk, there is a lot more to this, but what are your initial thoughts here?
Yeah, so in a minute, I'm gonna break down all the money that was paid, and apparently I'm owed money. So if you were discriminated at Columbia, apparently you gotta get paid. Where's my goddamn money? As a Muslim, I was insulted 2,000 times there. Oh, sorry, I thought I was human. No, I realize that's only for one group of people now. The rest of us are dirt, and we could be insulted all day long, and nobody's gonna get any money for it. But I want people to understand something that's important to this story before we give you all the details. Columbia is not being made to do this. The people on Columbia's board, a lot of the important wealthy donors to Columbia, and the Columbia administration are all racist against Palestinians, and they're bigots against Muslims, and they're very happy to do this. They're not like, oh, Donald Trump twisted my arm. No, he didn't. No, they love that they have an excuse to be bigots against Muslims. That's what Columbia has been trying to do the whole time. Yeah, there is a giant racial and bigotry problem in Columbia. It's against Muslims by the deeply racist Columbia administration, and every member of the Columbia board that didn't resign over this should hang their head in shame for their deep racism and bigotry. So I'll explain why in a minute.
Well, on top of the $200 million in grant repayment, the school will also pay a $21 million settlement as part of a US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission investigation. Columbia has agreed to submit to a federal monitor that will assure compliance with admissions and hiring practices and provide certain information about students to immigration authorities. So what will that look like in practice? Columbia must also review its admissions policy for international students and ensure those applicants are asked why they want to study in the United States. Earlier this year, US Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents detained some international students who had been outspoken pro-Palestinian advocates at Columbia, and administration officials have said that, quote, pro-Hamas, quote, radical students should be deported. On Fox Business, Secretary of Education Lynn McMahon took a victory lap.
I think that this is a monumental victory for conservatives who've wanted to do things on these elite campuses for a long time, because we had such far left-leaning, professors, and we had 27% of the students that are coming in, are from outside of the United States. I think that's one of Harvard's stats, and so Columbia is clearly on board. I'm really pleased with this victory. It wouldn't have happened if Donald Trump were not president, and I'm really pleased to execute his vision for this, that our campuses are now, they're what they should be. They're places for debate, they're places for education, they're not places for left-leaning riots and anti-Semitism, and I'm really pleased with this result.
Now, under this agreement, the Trump administration was, until this agreement, the Trump administration was dangling $400 million in federal funds for research over Columbia's head. That funding will now be reinstated. One of the faculty union leaders on campus expressed his frustration over the agreement in a statement to the Washington Post. Michael Thaddeus, a professor of mathematics and acting president of the Columbia chapter of the American Association of University Professors, said in an email Wednesday that students and scholars at American universities must be free to think and speak their minds, and that the settlement risks imperiling that freedom. Columbia's insistence that it will not allow the government to interfere in appointments, admissions, or curriculum is welcome. Yet the creation of a monitor charged with scrutinizing our admissions data and our Middle Eastern Studies Department opens the door to just such interference. Cenk.
Yeah, so I went to Columbia Law, and when I went there were people from across the world there, and I guess now they're not going to take people from the Middle East as much, and so, but they're battling bigotry. But wait, you just said you're going to discriminate against foreign students. Period. Do you think they're going to discriminate against Israeli students? Laugh along with me. Laugh along with me. Okay. So of course they're not going to do that. They're going to target Muslim students and Arab students. So while fighting bigotry and racism, right? Liars, giant liars. You know that Columbia alumni were the ones that were first like, how dare they protest Israel? Kick them off campus. Don't let them graduate. Okay, they're disgusting because it's all about protecting Israel. So what happened? What happened to free speech? No, not on a college campus. How dare you do free speech on a college campus? Bow your head to Israel, okay? Well, you guys just canceled $400 million. That looks like cancel culture. You canceled the money. Bow to Israel, okay? So what is these dumbasses? It's again, not dumb, sorry, take it back. Perfectly smart. They're like, oh, we have to give $200 million to the Trump administration. Golly gee, oh no. And we have to ban anyone from criticizing Israel. And we have to redo our Middle Eastern department so that it doesn't teach history, it teaches Israeli propaganda. Oh shucks, don't make us do it, said the bigots on Columbia's board, Columbia administration, who deeply hate and Muslims and have nothing but disdain for us, okay? So part of this settlement is randomly Jewish students are gonna get $20 million. What? $20 million? So what, because somebody said something anti-Semitic? First of all, I don't even believe it, but okay, if you have instances where you can show it on tape or whatever, are people gonna come and go, yeah, I was kind of offended, dude. Yeah, like I love Israel, man. So what, we're starving the kids to death. Give me money. And Columbia's like, here you go, sir. Oh, you're pro-genocide, check. Pro-genocide, check. Ethnic cleansing, oh, you like starving babies, check, okay. Well, where's my check? I went to Columbia. I was against the occupation from day one. I said, why should the Palestinians be the only people considered so violent and outrageously terrorist that they can't ever be a sovereign nation? They can't be, everyone else can have an independent nation, but the Palestinians can't. And they say, shut up, you're not allowed to have that opinion. You're a Muslim, terrorist, savage, etc. Where's my goddamn money? Where's all the kids, Muslim, Christian, and Jewish, who fought for peace, who fought against genocide? Where's their money? You don't get any money. But if you love genocide, Columbia's gonna go write you a check. They're gonna write you a check for that. I'm so disgusted, I wish I never went to that place. I should have picked some other law school, but I didn't know. I didn't know that the school was secretly, the entire agenda was to help the Israeli government. What a sick, disgusting place. So Columbia's official position now is pro-genocide. Disgusting. Okay, if you say, no, Cenk, I saw them take over a building, ooh, like in the Vietnam War protests, they never did that, right? But that was just about complaining about America. You can complain about America all day long in Colombia, anywhere else. You're not gonna get a paid check for that. You complain about Israel, oh, you're gonna get fired, deported, and the guy who said that you said something bad about Israel is gonna get a big fat check. They're incentivizing people to be bigots against Muslims. Oh, go find it, a dirty Muslim who said something that you don't like, and we'll give you money for it. Disgusting, disgusting. That will be a stain on everyone on Columbia's board for the rest of their lives. When people, if you have on your resume that you were a member of the Columbia Board of Trustees now, that's a scarlet letter. Oh, those are the people who hated Muslims and loved the genocide. And they bowed to Trump and said, yes, Donald Trump, here's $200 million, okay? To change our Middle Eastern department, only Israeli propaganda, only Israeli propaganda. No truth allowed at Columbia. What a waste. Can I just get my money back for the tuition? I didn't know I was going to an Israeli propaganda school. I thought I was going to a college in America, an esteemed college in America. No, so guys, think about how stupid this is. So they're gonna pay we gotta get the $400 million back in medical research. So we're gonna give the Trump administration $200 million. Guys, after Trump is gone, they're gonna get the money anyway. And Harvard's probably gonna win the lawsuit. Columbia knows Harvard's gonna win the lawsuit. My dad was right. He's like, you know, you work a little harder, you go to Harvard. I should have gone to Harvard. I shouldn't have settled for Columbia, but I didn't know they were bigots. So yeah, they've shamed us all. And so this is not an American university. This is not a place where you go for higher education and you get unbiased history, foreign policy, politics, philosophy. You learn about things. This is just a protection racket for a foreign government. And I'm beyond disgusted by it.
Cenk, I want to point out how while they wrap this in equal opportunity language and fighting discrimination, as you rightfully point out, this only goes one way. These protections and this government intervention would never be afforded to Muslim students, and we have proof. Chris Hedges has a new book out, and he details some of the treatment that Muslim students at Columbia have, some of the treatment and discrimination they have encountered and lived with at Columbia over the past couple of years. For instance, on April 25th of this year, during Columbia's senior boat cruise, Muslim students who were identified as participating or participants in the campus encampment were harassed, yelled at, and had drinks poured on them. No intervention by the Trump administration or Columbia University.
Where's their $20 million? Where's their $20 million? Yeah. They were literally assaulted.
More,
but they're Muslims, so it doesn't matter. You could assault them. Just go ahead and assault them. As long as they're criticizing Israel, beat the living crap out of them like they did at UCLA. I know you have more, I have one too. I wanna see if you have the one I have, go ahead.
January 2024, former Israeli soldiers studying at Columbia used skunk spray to assault students on the steps of Low Library. The university initially said that they banned those students who used the skunk spray, and they were later allowed back onto campus. Students who were participating in the encampments who were Jewish, not even Muslim this time, they were Jewish, and they wanted to use the kosher kitchens, were harassed by other students in there, just so we're simply participating in these protests. So yes, of course, you can treat Muslim students however you want if you're on Columbia's campus. Also, if you don't align with Columbia's apparent pro-genocide stance, you also can be harassed and discriminated against. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm sure there are many more. Maybe you have some.
Yeah, there was a guy that ran over peace protesters, including a little old lady right outside of Columbia. Now he was arrested, thank God. I mean, I guess that's still illegal, but I mean, again, they did massive assault on UCLA's campus, the Israeli supporters did. And the police stood by, they were literally on the scene for 3 hours and they let them beat the crap out of the peace protesters. And there's no congressional investigations, nobody's getting money, there's no crackdown. Okay, at Columbia, so at least that guy got arrested for trying to murder people. Did you guys ever hear that? You didn't hear it, right? Because no, he's pro-Israel, so it's okay. If you're pro-Israel, you try to murder people, there's no congressional investigations. There's no Muslims getting paid. In that case, it's not even Muslims. Again, there's always, in the peace protests, guys, there's Muslims, Christians, Jews, atheists, everyone, okay? And I love them, I love every one of them. Everyone who makes it about religion, like with and who's making it about religion? Trump and Columbia. No, the Muslims shouldn't be protected. Christians shouldn't be protected. Only supporters of Israel should be protected. How about the guys who got run over by a car? How about them? No protection. No protection. Only pro-Israel people are protected at Columbia. So, okay, you work for a foreign government. You're not in higher education. All of them humiliated for the rest of their lives. Sick people. You're gonna be known forever. If you're part of that administration now, or you're on the board, you're gonna be known forever as genocide supporters. You're gonna go in a museum, they're gonna have your name. These were the people who paid money to folks who were in favor of genocide because they felt offended by the people who said that Israel was doing a genocide. Can you imagine? I mean, you could take any genocide or Holocaust you like, okay? The Armenian genocide, the Holocaust against Jews by the Nazis. Imagine they're like, oh, the German students at Columbia were offended that people were calling out the concentration camps, etc., in Germany. Well, the Germans were offended. Pay $200 million to the government for offending the Germans. Pay 20 million to the German students who were offended about what you said about the Nazis, or any other one. Oh, you criticize Popa, okay, to give me money, give them money. How dare you criticize the Ottoman Empire for slaughtering Armenians? You owe the Turks money. You don't owe the Armenians money, you owe the Turks money because we were offended. I mean, if the Turks made that case, we'd be laughed out of the building, and we should be. Money because we're offended because we committed a genocide. How does that make any sense? But if you apply it to the Israelis, they're like, of course, how dare you offend the most important people of all, the great and almighty Israeli citizens. If you offend them, you owe everybody money, even if they commit the slaughter. I'm sick of it, sick of it. I can't wait for us for our actual Independence Day. We are occupied by Israel. Colombia's occupied, Washington's occupied. We just had a vote, 422-6 in Congress to give Israel another $500 million in the middle of a genocide. Imagine if the Ottoman Empire was like, hey, I'm busy murdering Armenians. Send me $500 million, I haven't murdered enough of them. And America was like, yes, sir, of course, sir. The most important thing is Turks, sir. Well, how can we assist you in your slaughter of the Armenians, sir? And that's what we're doing now. But if you say it, oh, I'm offended. I'm offended. I don't give a goddamn that you're offended. I'm offended by the 20,000 babies and children that Israel has slaughtered. And that's not anti-Semitism. It is a literal fact. They dropped bombs, the children were lit on fire, and right now, 111 people have already died of starvation, 10 of them in the last 24 hours. A 6-week-old baby just died because Israel will not send any food inside Gaza. Their disgusting government is filled with terrorists, and Colombia is kissing their ass. You're all going in a museum of the people who are the most deeply hateful people in American history. The people who loved, supported, cheered, and applauded a genocide. That's Colombia's board, that's Colombia's administration. I hope that's clear enough. All right, I know we're short on time, but let's do the Mamdani story because I want to light into someone there as well, and that's where you're going to be right, Jordan. Go ahead.
Okay. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro has been the latest establishment Democrat to criticize Zohran Mamdani for refusing to condemn the phrase, globalize the Intifada. We'll tell you what Shapiro said in a moment, but Cenk, I don't know if your temper has settled down a little bit. What are your initial reactions to some of Shapiro's comments?
My initial reaction is you were right, Jordan. Jordan and I had a debate. I backed Josh Shapiro for VP before Kamala Harris made her selection. Jordan backed Tim Walz. And look, as I told Jordan at the time, I didn't think there was any chance she was going to pick Tim Walz, but she did, and I gave her credit for that. But I shouldn't have backed Josh Shapiro. So Josh Shapiro turns out is Israel first. So Mamdani never said globalize the Intifada. Now he's telling people they shouldn't say globalize the Intifada, but it's never enough. It's never enough because it's not about that. Josh Shapiro doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about Jewish Americans. He cares about protecting Israel. So let's listen to what the liar Josh Shapiro has to say about Mamdani.
In an interview with Jewish Insider, Shapiro stated the following: Mamdani seemed to run a campaign that excited New Yorkers. It's true. Then he goes on. He also seemed to run a campaign where he left open far too much space for extremists to either use his words or for him to not condemn the words of extremists that said some blatantly anti-Semitic things. You have to speak and act with moral clarity, and when supporters of yours say things that are blatantly anti-Semitic, you can't leave room for that to just sit there. You've got to condemn that. Here are the other establishment Democrats who have criticized Mamdani's comments. Take a look.
I don't really agree with virtually any of it politically. So that's just where I'm at as a Democrat.
When you have socialists in the Democratic Party, I don't know how anybody could argue that would be beneficial for the party or for the country.
Globalizing the Intifada, by way of example, is not an acceptable phrase, and he's going to have to clarify his position on that as he moves forward.
But you'll notice throughout all of this smearing of Mamdani, nobody can point to anything he specifically himself has said. It's always something someone else has said that Mamdani is supposed to answer for and respond to as a candidate for mayor of New York City. Cenk, for the sake of time here, I want to bring you in. What do you think of Shapiro's comments and these ongoing attacks against Mamdani?
All of these guys, with the exception of Dean Phillips, who criticized them on the economy, are giant liars. They keep saying it like he said globalize the Intifada. He never said that. What a weird thing to ask somebody. Isn't that a super weird thing? Will you condemn words you've never said? Why am I getting asked this? What is this? What the hell is this? And they say, okay, Intifada could mean two different things. I don't use that word because it can be misinterpreted. But does it also mean an uprising that is political? Yes, it does also mean that. No, that one doesn't count. Well, why doesn't it count? No, because I want to call you an anti-Semite. But why do you want to call me an anti-Semite? Because you're criticizing Israel. Yeah, that's why. That's why. He didn't even say it. You liars. He didn't even say it. Okay. So okay, now let's make up something about Josh Shapiro and pretend he said it and go, "Will you condemn it? Will you condemn it?" Well, he's going to say, "What the hell? I didn't even say that." Right? So okay, Josh Shapiro said we should murder Palestinian babies. But you can say, "Wait a minute, Josh Shapiro didn't say that." Well, Mamdani didn't say globalized intifada. So what are you up his ass for? Because you don't like that he criticized Israel. Why don't you be honest, Josh? Governor Shapiro, why don't you be honest about how you want to protect your beloved Israel? Now, I believed in Josh Shapiro. That's why I'm angry at myself. I thought he'd done a couple of positive things and maybe he could hold Israel accountable because he cared about the situation and he cared about Israel. And right now Israel's on a disastrous path. But no. Okay, now let's talk about what Josh Shapiro actually did say, because we won't do the same dirty tricks that he's doing against Mamdani. Okay, so you say that Mamdani does not have enough moral clarity. Well, Governor Shapiro, do you have moral clarity? Have you condemned the genocide and the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians? Have you condemned Israel for killing over 20,000 Palestinian children? Have you strongly condemned Israel for starving Palestinian children to death as we speak? Because those are your actual positions. They're not made up positions. So tell us how you feel about that. Give us moral clarity, Governor Shapiro. You have no moral clarity on that because you have no morality on that. You're in favor of a disgusting genocide. But you couch that in terms of, oh, I'm upset at Mamdani for offending me. Guess what, Governor Shapiro? I'm offended. I'm offended that you don't care about 20,000 dead Palestinian children. Oh no, Cenk, your offense doesn't matter. You're a Muslim. No one cares about you. Who cares if you're offended? Who cares if we slaughtered your children? Who cares? You're just stupid Muslims and you're not at all important. Well, they're killing Christians too in Palestine. Who cares? None of them are important. Only Israel is important. Yeah. Go ahead. Call me an anti-Semite. Yeah, go ahead. I back you for VP. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if you slightly criticize Israel, anti-Semite, right? Well, okay, Josh Shapiro, you're a bigot against Muslims. You don't care about dead Palestinian children. You only care about, oh, I'm offended. Oh, my feelings. How about the feelings of the dead kids, Josh Shapiro? Are you offended by that? Are you offended that Israel has taken our money and slaughtered 59,000 people at a minimum now? Oh, no, maybe 11,000 of them are Hamas. Okay, made up numbers, but okay, I'll grant it to you. So you're okay with them slaughtering 48,000 civilians? Oh, Hamas, they're the dirtiest terrorists. They killed 1,200 people. I agree with you, Josh Shapiro. Terrible terrorists, 1,200 people, terrible. 800 of them, a little over 800 of them are civilians. 36 of them were children, terrible. 48,000 dead civilians, 20,000 dead children. And Josh Shapiro says, don't care, not at all offended by what Israel's doing. Not at all offended by what Israel is doing to Muslim kids, to Christians, to Palestinians. But Mamdani didn't condemn a phrase he didn't say. So Josh Shapiro finds himself deeply offended. Look, we already knew that Fetterman was a giant sellout. Richie Torres, all those guys, they work for Israel. We got it. But I thought Josh Shapiro actually was a real person, a real American who cared about this country. But the minute the chips are, oh, we got a dirty that Muslim Democrat. How dare he oppose Israel? Brother, man, you're making it super obvious. If you'd like to be governor of Tel Aviv, move to goddamn Tel Aviv. They should vote against Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. Oh no, Cenk, don't say that. He's a beloved Democrat. What have Democrats done for us? What have Democrats done to stop this genocide? The minute there's a Democrat who condemns the genocide, all of a sudden all the Democrats unite to smear him. They're not just opposing his policies, they're doing a character assassination. They're putting words in his mouth, fake words he didn't say, then condemning him for it because beloved Israel, how dare he oppose ethnic cleansing. I mean, they're just Muslims. Come on. Who complains about, oh, your people were ethnically cleansed? Who cares? Your people aren't important. My people are important, Josh Shapiro says. F you, Josh Shapiro, okay? Are you offended by that? Good, good, I'm glad you're offended. Why don't you try caring about children despite what their religion or nationality or ethnicity is? Just try that for a minute. I know I'm asking for a big ask there. Big ask to care about Muslims when we should all be focused only on kissing Israel's ass. Screw Josh Shapiro.
Yeah, I just, for the sake of time, want people to think about how warped of a world we live in, where the candidate for New York's mayor, who is running on issues, his entire campaign was centered on issues that help the working class, and the political and media elite are all trying to force a narrative on him apologizing or denouncing things he has never said. Think about that. Why don't they want this person, aside from deference and support and love of Israel, why do they not want this person to succeed if it helps the wider population of New York? So there's a two-pronged issue here. And of course, it's their deference and love and support to Israel, but also they don't care about you. They would rather manufacture and focus on a false controversy than spotlight someone's policies that would make New York residents' living conditions better, plain and simple. And I need everyone to think about that because it happens in election after election after election. In Bernie in 2020, they weren't talking about his policies. In many cases during campaign roundups, they would completely omit him. What was the narrative? His supporters are toxic and he has to denounce them because they don't want to talk about how popular these policies are. No, ignore him. All these people who are excited that their life and their material conditions might change, they're toxic. Ignore them. Focus on this guy. Focus on this establishment Democrat who's going to cut taxes for corporations, us, help us in the media elite make more money. Help us, the wealthy donors, make more money. They do this over and over and over again, and it's on all of us to identify it every time it happens and call it out.
Last two things. If you're not denouncing the genocide in Israel, you have no moral leg to stand on, and I don't want to hear a word from you, okay? We all denounce Hamas. Israel has killed 50 times the civilians that Hamas has. If you're not denouncing what Israel's doing now, you get the tallest glass of shut up juice there is for the rest of your life. You have no morality. You only have tribalism. Okay, and the last thing is, Josh, we all know you're trying to sound like Obama. And you look ridiculous when you do it, okay? So stew on that. All right, we gotta go. Jordan, thank you, brother. And thank you for being right about Tim Walz. And look, guys.
Happy to.
Yeah. And look, guys, we lead by example. There's nothing wrong with saying you were wrong. So what? What happens then? Does your ego get hurt a little bit, right? So Jordan, great job in that discussion, okay? All right. All right, when we come back, we haven't even hit the starvation stories yet. Wait till you see me on that. We'll be right back. I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken when I first got my license, like 17 years old or 17, 18, whatever it was. And I'm driving, I think, my dad's Oldsmobile. And I parked it in a place where there was two cars next to me, really tight spot, and a car behind me. I don't even know how I got in there because I'm a terrible driver. Back then I was an even worse driver. And on the roads I'm okay, but in parking spots I have terrible spatial reasoning and I'm a mess. And on my way out, I hit all three cars at once. I broke all records, okay? So I went, as I'm backing out, I went boom, oh, and this side hit that car, this side hit this car, and the back hit the third car, okay? And I got stuck. I didn't know how to get out. Like, I went, okay, for this, and then I'm like, no, and then, right? And then finally I had to stop, go inside the KFC and go, A, I'm sorry, I hit a bunch of your cars. They're like, what do you mean a bunch of your cars? I'm like, I don't know.
Wow, there's a B?
Yeah. I'm like, I hit 3 cars. I don't know. So you guys got to come help me, okay? Okay, so one, my bad. Really sorry about that. Okay, number 2, can someone take my car out? Because I don't want to keep hitting your cars, and I'm incapable of taking it out of this spot.
Now, baby, move that fat, baby, move that fat. We thugged out.
Hi, I'm Brett Ehrlich with Breaking News with Brett Ehrlich. This is Breaking News with Brett Ehrlich. Hi, Brett Ehrlich here. According to EPA head Scott Pruitt, climate change is not happening. He cited a meme on Facebook he saw. When pressed to back up this source, he said it must be accurate because the watermark said it was made by a scientist. So, your move, Truth.
At TYT, our mission is to boldly pursue truth, challenge the establishment, and drive positive change. At a time when corporate capture of our media, our government, and our politics is nearly absolute, everyday working people need a champion to fight for them and to push back against the powerful interests that threaten our democracy itself. At TYT, we're proudly progressive and call out corruption and duplicity wherever we see it, from Republicans, Democrats, or anyone else. And unlike mainstream news media outlets, we're not beholden to corporate advertisers, to defense contractors, to Wall Street, or to big pharma. We only have to answer to our audience, and for nearly 2 decades, we've accomplished that by delivering honest, timely, and insightful perspectives on the day's news without fear or favor or concern for whose toes we might step on or which powerful elites we might offend. And while we're super serious about the news, we also manage to do it in a way that is fun and lighthearted. We can do this together and serve our audience, and yes, have fun doing it.
You are the media revolution. You are much needed.
TYT, TYT.
The place is like 95% TYT on.
You guys, the Young Turks, which is my favorite channel, we're getting that message out.
Tank and the Young Turks do an extraordinarily good job.
No matter what mainstream media says, you have to listen to the Young Turks.
The people who support us on the internet, that's what gives us strength. That's what allows anyone who was in there who was undecided to think one side seems to be winning, they seem to have a bigger army. There might be a reason for that. So thank you guys.
You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
All right, back on the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur and Sharon Reed with you guys. Also, Gaming Relevance has joined. We appreciate you. Andre Hatton gifted 20 memberships on YouTube. You're awesome. Thank you. And Ty Quody of EMS upgraded, and you can upgrade through the join button too. Appreciate all of you. All of those are wonderful things, and we can't do the show without you guys. And we try our hardest to give you the truth, no matter who it pisses off, and it pisses off a lot of people. So we do need your help and support, and we appreciate it. And by the way, on our website, I forgot to say there's a good quiz or poll, I should say, on Colombia. Do you believe the Colombia administration and board are A, anti-Semites, B, bigoted against Muslims, C, neither? I mean, the idea that anti-Semites running wild at Colombia is hilarious. It's ridiculous. At Colombia, a denizen of anti-Semitism. What a joke. I mean, I went to Colombia. What a joke. Okay. Anyways, all right, Sharon.
Things have changed, apparently, if you want to believe that. I don't. This is the opposite of you, Cenk. Thin skin it is another day, another comedian in the crosshairs of Donald Trump. This time it is the co-host of The View, Joy Behar. During a segment on the show earlier this week, Behar offered her take on what she says is Trump's obsession with one Barack Obama.
The thing about him is that he's so jealous of Obama because Obama is everything that he is not.
Yeah.
Trim.
Yeah.
Smart. Handsome. Happily married, and can sing Al Green's song, Let's Stay Together, better than Al Green.
Yeah.
And Trump cannot stand it. It's driving him crazy. Jealousy is not green is not a good color.
Is The View now in the crosshairs of this administration?
Look, it's entirely possible that there's issues over there. I mean, again, stepping back, this broader dynamic, once President Trump has exposed these media gatekeepers and smashed this facade, there's a lot of consequences.
That's what's going on. Behar's comment prompted an official response from the White House press office. Here it is. Joy Behar is an irrelevant loser suffering from a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. It's no surprise that The View's ratings hit an all-time low last year. She should self-reflect on her own jealousy. President Trump's historic popularity for her show is the next to be pulled off the air. So, Jack, that's another direct threat. It's from the administration on the heels of that other network deciding that Stephen Colbert's show, the long-running show, has been canceled, and paying $12 million. ABC did after another frivolous lawsuit. So, how does this one play out?
Yeah. So first, did she offend your feelings? Were your fifis, did they have a boo-boo? Do you need a Band-Aid for it? Oh, a comic or a host said something critical of the president. So effing what? Is this America or is it not? To see right-wingers become whiny little bitches and go, oh, you shouldn't have free speech. Donald Trump's skin is too thin. We have to protect daddy, cancel her. I love cancel culture, cancel her. I don't like The View. I think The View's a joke. I think they lie all the time. I don't know if there's a harsher show in America against The View than we are. Can't stand them, okay? She's criticizing a politician. So what? So what? Oh, okay, get right into your feelings, okay? Oh, daddy was hurt. Daddy's feelings were hurt. Okay, you guys sound real tough.
Yeah, and let's remember, she talked about singing. Barack Obama's a better singer. He's a little bit more trim. So, it doesn't take much. We should mention The View's ratings are up this quarter, stronger than they were during the Biden administration. Now, the clash comes, as we mentioned, just as CBS confirmed it is canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, a move that prompted speculation that Donald Trump was working behind the scenes, and he's the reason that happened. Colbert, who has been a sharp critic of Trump for years, recently accused CBS's parent company Paramount of trying to curry favor with Trump to win approval for an $8 billion merger, something they denied. They said it's just a money issue. We'll show you how Colbert has been responding since his ouster. After his show's cancellation, Colbert fired back, delivering an unscripted monologue that included an expletive-laced message for President Donald Trump. And that got a response on Truth Social. We'll put it up for you. I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. Has even less talent than Colbert. Greg Gutfeld is better than all of them combined, including the moron on NBC who ruined the once great Tonight Show. So there Trump is celebrating Colbert, predicting that Jimmy Fallon, well, he called him a moron, that Jimmy Kimmel's next. And now the president of the United States is taking time out of his day, tariff threats, deportation, obsession, pretending he barely knew Jeffrey Epstein to issue an official response for Joy Behar. Is lacking of emotional control as one could be. That's Donald Trump, Jank. But I guess what I would ask you is, it's still having such a large effect on media and entertainment outright. So he is sort of winning.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by winning. So first of all, he's losing popularity as we go. He's down to 37% now. again, look, maybe it wasn't difficult, but a lot of people thought that that MAGA wouldn't turn on him. That forget MAGA, the independent Trump voters wouldn't turn on him. Well, they did, 37% and dropping. And he's going to keep on dropping. I told you when he'd rise. I told you when he'd drop. We told you when Kamala would rise. We told you when Kamala would drop. It's based on their actions, and you could see it. And the thing that we do at the Young Turks that nobody else does is we tell you it's going to happen before it happens. We told you last week that his numbers were going to, fall through the floor. And now remember when CNN did the segment of, oh no, the Epstein files aren't affecting his numbers at all. He's just as good. You remember that? And I said BS. And I said this week his numbers will crater. And here we are, and they cratered, right? So now the reason why others are crumbling to him are a variety of things. As we talked about earlier in the show, Columbia, quote unquote, gave in to him because they actually secretly agree with him. They couldn't wait to discriminate against Muslim students and also Jewish and Christian and every other kind of student. That's for peace. Columbia administration wants to protect Israel. So they're like, oh golly gee, the Trump administration twisted our arm into canceling all speech against Israel on our campus. I wonder how that happened, right? And then in this Paramount case, Paramount got just today, right now, it just happened. Breaking news, they got their merger approved. And so that's why they were doing it. Why? So why did, if you don't know like how business folks think, I do, right? And so for Sherry Redstone, who was trying to unload Paramount, she got $8 billion for it. She made a huge mistake earlier. She could have gotten a lot more, but this was her getting rid of Paramount in a panic because it's beginning to lose money and it's going to lose a lot of money going forward because like a lot of the old entertainment companies are collapsing. So she's got a hot potato. If she doesn't get rid of it, she might get nothing. Her dad built this fortune. She doesn't know what she's doing. So she's like, I don't know. I got to get. And so now when Trump goes, okay, like give me money to approve your merger. I mean, because 60 Minutes edited an answer, wink. So they're like, yeah, here's a bribe, right? Get rid of. I don't know if he said get rid of Colbert, but he did say, oh Colbert, oh he's a comic. He has offended me. Oh my God, you should cancel some. Oh, cancel culture. Okay, you should cancel any comic who insults me. Oh, look at that. Lo and behold, they cancel Stephen Colbert. Hey, look at that. Lo and behold, they get their merger approved. Sherry Redstone gets $8 billion. So for her, mission accomplished. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about politics. She doesn't care about Stephen Colbert. She cares about the money, Lebowski. So she got paid. And so when he touched, and why did all the law firms crumble? Not all, but a lot of them. Because he said, if you don't agree to what I want, I'm going to punish your clients. And then you'll have no clients left at all, and your firm will go under. And so it touched the partners of the law firms, their money. So once you touch their money, then they melt. Like, oh, the morality is out the window, gone. Principles gone. Being strong, they never had that in the first place. So he's trying to find every weakling in the country that he could bully into bribing him and doing whatever he wants. Good news for Donald Trump is among the rich and powerful in this country, there's actually tons of weaklings. And the minute you touch a dollar of theirs, they're like, oh, my money, my money. I'll do anything, to sell out American principles. They'll sell out their mom for this. So yeah, now Viacom's a joke, and I'm glad South Park is ripping them too. And now everybody on Viacom is going to rip their own business because they made a mockery of the company. So the new guys that came in, they better, figure out what to do, and come up with a new strategy. But if they're just going to sit there and get on their knees for Donald Trump, nobody's going to watch that crap.
Yeah, they promised him though, according to the reporting, millions in PSAs, moving forward, the new company. So there's that. I just wonder, once you're in bed with the mafia, so I've heard, there's no escaping it. You're in, and it's not going to end well. So it's just, to me, you're so devious yet so creative. There's endless possibilities to shake people down and get them to capitulate.
Yeah. And when you control the government, you have all these levers. So he's not punishing Viacom for something that they did on air, or Paramount for something that they did on air. He's punishing them for criticizing him. And how is he is it legitimate? Of course it's not legitimate, but it doesn't have to be legitimate as long as he uses corruption and drain the swamp. How hilarious, right? I'm not gonna approve your merger, which has nothing to do with Stephen Colbert's monologue, has nothing to do with 60 Minutes doing the most normal edit in news history. Those things are totally unrelated. Yeah, but I'm gonna hold up your merger because I'm corrupt. I mean, he's just practically saying it. It's like a giant banner going, I'm corrupt, I'm corrupt. If you don't bribe me and if you don't make all of the people on air kiss my ass, I'm gonna steal your money. I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna approve your mergers. I'm not gonna approve anything. And I'm gonna hold your entire company hostage until you bow down to the politician that is now serving as president. But hey, if you're in the politician ass kissing business, well, you're in luck. Trump's got a lot of ass to kiss.
Well, and maybe The View is next on the chopping block, and Joy Behar, maybe she'll get swapped out. We'll see. We'll take a quick break and get right back with you.
I do want corruption. I do want corruption.
All right, back on TYT. Let's go to members on TYT.com. Church of the Illinois writes in, insulting a politician of the opposing party. Isn't that Tuesday over at Faw News and OANN? Well, I guess Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday also. So, look, we're consistent over here, and we take a lot of flack for being consistent, and for calling out the Democrats and the Republicans for the same things. So now it'll be interesting to see all those Trump voters. Are they, and some of them already, a lot of them are already doing it. Will they all do it? Put pom-poms on for cancel culture? We hate free speech as long as daddy is insulted. Okay, looking forward to it. Can't wait to see them. Oh, right, Crowder can't wait for either. He'll probably put on a cheerleader outfit just for fun. But remember, drag shows are terrible. Worst case scenario, Dragon says, Paramount has Showtime, only thing that's good, but CBS is a snooze fest, cop shows, fireman shows, all vanilla and family friendly. Yeah, I mean, come on, CBS. I asked my kids a couple of years ago, what is a CBS? They said, oh, Baba, that's easy, it's a pharmacy. They don't know what CBS is, they've never heard of CBS, okay?
Stop it.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing,
Yeah.
Jen? I agree with most of what you said, but they do have this new soap, Beyond the Gates. I'm addicted to it. I love this show. It's full of action and my peeps. So that's it. I'm not saying I watch other stuff, but I do watch that.
Yeah,
I record it.
Fairest show in America. Thank you for pointing out the one show you like there, okay?
You're
and
welcome.
Stephen Colbert's on CBS, so we'll give him that too, okay? The rest is LA, New York, fired, police, Chicago, Austin, housewives. What? Okay, Guy Hetzel writes in on YouTube member section, Cenk's on fire and we're not halfway through the show. I worry about him. Now, don't worry about me, brother. You should be worried about the people I'm going after. I'm not in danger, I am the danger. We actually had that shirt for a while at shop.tyt.com. Demilly writes in, we love you, Cenk, thank you, love you back. Lady AF says, I've personally seen Trump voters waking up to what's going on, but today I sat back with someone who travels to deep red areas that I don't, and they were shocked by the amount of people that have awakened. I'm telling you, they're watching different media and they're starting to wake up. I've heard reports of people putting away their Trump signs, some even ripping it up or burning it. David Michael writes in, or Michelle, you know what else is going to happen? Schools like Columbia are going to see less enrollment. I wouldn't be surprised if kids start going out of the country for schooling. Well, look, they're going to see 2 less applications. I'm not going to let my kids apply to Columbia. And they would have an advantage because I'm an alumnus. And so that gives them a totally unfair advantage. And we're not going to take it because Columbia is now run by dirtbags. Project for Progress says France officially recognized Palestinians as a state. How do I feel about that? Great, nice job. All right, back on TYT, Cenk and Sharon with you guys. Also, Bulletproof Catholic and John Butler. Thank you for signing up. We appreciate you guys. Makes a big difference, guys. So can't thank you enough. Yeah, I'm just gonna read one comment here. Ronan DLB wrote in the YouTube member section, I don't think accusing people of anti-Semitism is gonna work anymore. I think people are getting numb to it. My God, is that right? Like when somebody said that somebody was an anti-Semite, it used to mean something, right? And you'd be worried about it, like, oh, Jesus, what are they saying, right? Now, when you hear somebody's an anti-Semite, you're like, oh, you're against the genocide too? Okay, it like almost means you're a moral person because of how badly supporters of Israel have misused that word. All right, Sharon.
Let's check in with RFK Jr., Cenk.
The UK's Foreign Secretary has described the current scenes in Gaza as sickening. 28 countries yesterday condemned Israel's, quote, horrifying attacks on Palestinians queuing for food. Pope Leo is demanding a ceasefire, expressing sorrow at what he calls barbarity.
Do you know how many meals the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation
spare me all this, it's just crap. You say they've got plenty of food. There are thousands stampeding for the small amounts of food that they can get their hands on, even though you say they're not hungry because you've overfed them.
Don't forget they're being fired upon too. Look at those faces. Piers Morgan furious about the horrific conditions in Gaza. As we speak, starvation is gnawing away at Palestinians. But Trump's Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. is not furious at the Israeli government or the IDF. Instead, he's upset about an Israeli professor who said that Israel was committing a genocide. Before we get to that, let's get into the horrific details on what is happening right now in Gaza. We do want to warn you in advance. This video is absolutely disturbing.
As Israel's military operations ramp up, hunger is at an all-time high. Soup kitchens are running out of food. 600,000 people are suffering from malnutrition, according to the Hamas-run Ministry of Health. Any hint of aid entering Gaza draws massive crowds, and along with them, chaos. Men, women, and children all trying to get flour. 15 people have died of malnutrition in Gaza in the last 24 hours, local health officials say. They expect those numbers will only rise.
The World Health Organization says there are now nearly 30,000 children under 5 who are malnourished. ABC News has filmed inside the children's ward of a hospital in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Many of these children are so weak they struggle to move. Nohan Salha's 5-month-old daughter is one of 30 children here suffering from malnutrition.
Abdul Shawad al-Kalban, the boy is dead. He starved to death yesterday. A medic is cleaning his fragile, emaciated body in the morgue at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis after Abdul could no longer hold on.
It's literally choking off an entire society. Gaza Ministry of Health has reported more than 40 hunger-related deaths this month alone. That includes 16 children, 111 since the beginning of the war, 81 of those children. New York Times with that reporting. Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City has recorded 3 deaths from malnutrition in the previous 36 hours. Dr. Mohammed Abu Samia, hospital director, said in an interview on Tuesday, one was a 5-month-old baby. Doctors are famished as well, to the point that they are having dizzy spells as they make their rounds, medics say. Journalists documenting their caseloads are often too weak to even walk to the clinics. And then there was this yesterday, an anonymous IDF official stated that the catastrophe in Gaza is not Israel's fault. Officials said there was a, quote, lack of food security inside Gaza, but blamed a failure to distribute aid on the UN. Washington Post with that. The anonymous official said, there is no limit. The crossings are open. Just bring the trucks and take the aid. We're seeing the pictures also, and I want to tell you that we are taking it very seriously. We are analyzing the number of calories per capita inside Gaza. The UN had a response to that, stating Israeli authorities are the sole decision makers on who and how much aid enters Gaza, as well as the type of supplies that are allowed in. According to the Washington Post, the IDF has all but eliminated all of the farmlands and factories in Gaza, meaning that the people there cannot make their own food anymore. Tuesday, journalists from Agence France Presse issued the following statement about their colleagues in Gaza. Quote, over the last few days, we have learned from their brief messages that their lives are hanging by a thread and that the courage they have shown for months to bring news to the world will not be enough to pull them through. Since AFP was founded in August 1944, some of our journalists were killed in conflict, others wounded or made prisoner, but there is no record of us ever having had to watch our colleagues starving to death. Today, Israeli Heritage Minister Amika Eliyahu stated the following in a radio interview. Government is racing ahead for Gaza to be wiped out. Thank God we're wiping out this evil. We are pushing this population that has been educated. Oh, God. All of Gaza will be Jewish, the minister vowed, adding that Arabs who are loyal to Israel may remain in the Strip because we aren't racist.
Yeah.
Eliyahu denied that Palestinians are dying as a result of Israel's blockade, asserting that there's no hunger in Gaza. No hunger in Gaza. But we don't need to be concerned with hunger in the Strip, he stated. Let the world worry about that. Yet in response to an Israeli Holocaust professor's op-ed that stated Israel was committing a genocide, RFK Jr. stated this. The genocide charge is a blood libel. Meanwhile, ceasefire talks have broken down once again, both Israel, US sending their negotiators home. I'll let you go. They don't want this ever to work out, that's clear. And those who are complicit in it might not either.
Yeah, so RFK Jr. is the head of Health and Human Services. So why the hell is he talking about Israel? What a strange thing to be talking about. Oh, well, I get it. There's kids starving to death, so maybe he's worried about their health. No, he's against the kids. He's for Israel starving them. And if you say they're starving, Israel's starving them, he says you're anti-Semitic. That's blood libel to say that. Okay, I have him super high on a list of people who have been compromised. Because this makes no sense. He has nothing to do with Israel. And his Israeli policy does not match any of his other policies. It's just like this wild, weird curveball. Oh, I love genocide, RFK Jr. says. For why? Why? So random. Gee, I wonder if RFK Jr. has led a wild life. Gee, I wonder if somebody might have evidence on him on something even crazier than what he's already done. Hey, brother, your actions are what's causing it. I was totally open to RFK Jr. I had him on the show. I was happy to talk to him. He had some good policies. I was interested, but this is super weird. You're basically going, Israel has something on me. Israel has something on me. Okay, so hey, you do you. Okay, so okay, great. Now you're on the record. You're pro-genocide. I hope you're happy, Mr. Independent. Okay, and by the way, you know the guy he's called an anti-Semite that did blood libel is an Israeli American. He's a Zionist. Literally, he says in the article that he's a Zionist. He was in the IDF. He just happens to be a historian of genocides and Holocausts. And he's like, this is what I study every day. This is a textbook genocide. It has every hallmark of a genocide, including ministers saying we're going to kill them all. And then the heritage minister comes in and goes, you're right, we are going to kill them all. And we're going to bring the Jews in and we're going to steal their land. He says like a genocidal maniac. You know, we're giving money to that heritage minister. They're taking money out of your check and giving it to fascists like that. Oh, he's absolutely a fascist. That doesn't get any more fascist than let's starve them, let's kill them, let's take their land. The Germans back in the 40s would have been very proud of Minister Eliyahu. Oh, are you offended? Well, I'm a lot more offended that you plan on killing all those people. I'm a billion times more offended. And if you're more offended by criticism of a genocidal maniac like the heritage minister of Israel, then you are about the 20,000 dead kids. There's something wrong with you, man. Your bias is so outrageous, so ludicrous. Your tribalism so through the roof. If my people do it, then it's great. But against my people, never again. Against you guys, by us, no problem. No problem. If you look, that doesn't apply to everybody of any religion at all. It doesn't even apply to all supporters of Israel. It applies to people who are still saying Israel should keep going. They haven't slaughtered enough Palestinians. So now let's get to the starvation. So 111 dead from starvation, 15 in the last 24 hours. On top of the ones that Sharon read you, a 6-week-old just died, Yusuf al-Safadi, sorry. And a baby girl died who was just 4 pounds. It's not that she was born 4 pounds. She didn't have anything to eat. And by the time she died, she was 4 pounds. They're letting babies starve to death. You can't hide behind human shields and say, oh no, you're upsetting the Jews. No, but the Jews didn't say yes to this. I have Jewish friends and family. You didn't call them, you didn't ask them, they didn't say yes to this. Okay, you're the one, people like RFK Jr. are the ones being anti-Semitic. Oh, hey, this foreign government is committing a genocide, but that's on all the Jews. No, it's not. No, it's not. And saying that that government is killing babies and children is not blood libel, it's a fact. And then what they're doing is they're hiding behind blood libel. Blood libel is a real thing. They used to say these maniacal things about Jews before the pogroms and the Holocaust. Oh, they're drinking Christian babies' blood and stuff. That was nonsense, that wasn't true at all. And they used it to slaughter Jews that were innocent. Now, Israel is slaughtering Palestinian kids and hiding behind blood libel to do it. And the people who've been compromised here in America, very likely like RFK Jr. By the way, RFK, why don't you come sue me? And let's find out, let's do a deposition. Let's do some discovery. Let's find out why you're such a giant fan of Israeli genocide. Now I'm done with that son of a bitch. I'm done with him. Okay, but I'm done with all the Israeli supporters. So if you're still backing Israel's war crimes and their ethnic cleansing and their campaign of starvation, there's something wrong with you. Gaza has become a concentration camp. They don't have food. Imagine, a lot of you are parents, I'm a parent. Imagine when your baby was born, there's no food. And then when you say, my baby's dying, I need food. They go, anti-Semite. Oh, no. People didn't start out anti-Semitic. And I don't want anybody to be anti-Semitic. But Israel is turning the whole world against not just Israel, but unfortunately against Jews. I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to do that. You're gonna get people hurt here. You're gonna get people hurt all across the world. Why? Because Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and Smotrich and Eliyahu, these monster fascist terrorists currently in charge of the Israeli government, they want more power, they want more land. And then because they want to protect their own personal political power, they say, oh, we're gonna throw Jews under the bus. We're gonna say what we're doing, our crimes against humanity is on all the Jews. Because if you criticize us, you're criticizing all Jews. No, we're not criticizing all Jews. We're criticizing you. You in specific, you monster Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, he's one of the worst terrorists of our lifetime, and that's not disputable. He's killed 50 times the number of civilians that Hamas has in just this cycle, let alone all the other civilians he's murdered throughout his life. He's attacked nearly all of his neighbors. He set up a giant concentration camp in Gaza where they're starving children to death. How much more of a terrorist can you be? He killed 500 times the amount of children that Hamas did. How much more? If Hamas is the worst terrorist, what does that make Netanyahu? What does that make the current Israeli government? It makes them 50 times a terrorist, 500 times a terrorist. I don't give a goddamn what you call me. You can call me anything you like till you're blue in the face. And don't tell me, oh, Cenk, you have to respect my feelings. My feelings are more important than those dead babies. No, I don't agree. Your feelings are not remotely more important. And it is incredibly selfish and disgusting to say that your feelings are more important than 20,000 dead Palestinian children. If you're not morally outraged by this and trying to fix it, how do you look at yourself in the mirror?
I can't stomach looking anymore at the footage, the pictures, but I force myself to because I can eat. I have food. My daughter has food. I can't. War is ugly. It's disgusting, mass death, but I can't think of a worse way for a child, a person to die, withering away, the most painful way. And if you're lucky enough to perhaps make it out of this starvation in your most formative developmental years, well, what's going to be left then? Do you think, Cenk, that Jewish Americans are, and I know so many are saying things, the article that was written, are Jewish Americans afraid to say more?
No, I don't think they're afraid. I think, in fact, Jewish Americans are probably our best hope to fixing this. And I think that enough of them will turn that it'll make a difference. But you know what I was thinking, Sharon, is if I was Jewish, I would like to think that I would be on a bigger warpath. Like that I would be like, are you guys kidding me? You're gonna put this genocide on us? You're gonna put it on all of us? You're gonna say that you're doing it on behalf of us? That you're starving these, you're showing a picture to the world of the Jewish state, so-called, right? And I say so-called because it's a government. Governments do terrible things. But you're gonna call yourself a Jewish state, and then you're gonna starve little babies in front of the whole world. What do you think is gonna happen? The whole world's gonna turn anti-Semitic. I know what they think. I know and I gotta be honest, like in their deeply paranoid mind, they think that the whole world was already anti-Semitic, so we're just protecting ourselves. No, brother, they didn't hate you until you started starving babies. Like, did some folks hate Jews? Of course. But was it the whole world? No. But they're rubbing it in your face. There's nothing you could do. We're gonna keep killing those kids. We're gonna keep killing them. There's nothing you could do. We're stronger than you. We're more powerful than you. And we're gonna kill those kids right in front of your eyes. And then I can't believe they don't like us. No, if I was Jewish, I'd be 10 times angrier, 20 times angrier. And if you say, well, that's not fair to put on Jews. No, it's not, and they don't have a responsibility. I have a responsibility as somebody who does the news and is animated by this and tries to make a difference. But I would love it. And by the way, tons of Jewish Americans are already part of the peace movement. Tons of Jewish Americans were part of it from day one, right? So don't put this on Jewish Americans and don't put this on Jews overall. But is the government of Israel guilty? They are as guilty as any government I have ever seen in my lifetime. So if you say, well, I mean, Bashar al-Assad was slightly worse in Syria. Kim Jong-un is worse in North Korea. You must be so proud. You must be so proud. Please do better. Please fight for morality and decency. I grew up in a town that had a significant Jewish population. And I was taught a beautiful Jewish culture. You challenge the rabbi, you get, emphasize education, decency, morality, etc. So you gotta stand up. You gotta stand up and fight back against this. If you don't, and you actually attack the people who are trying to stop this genocide, no, brother, then you don't get to say anything anymore, right? Don't tell me about anti-Semitism when you don't mind all those Muslim children being killed. That means I don't really care about bigotry. I don't really care about racism. I just care about myself. And that's kind of a sad thing to say. So I hope to God that people snap out of it. And by the way, last thing, I know why. Because when it comes to your own identity, people just cannot be fair. They can't be unbiased. It happens to all of us. It is not about Jews. It's not about Israelis. It happens to all of us. When it comes to your identity, all of a sudden you get really touchy, right? But I'm asking you to look beyond that. And I'm asking you to do the right thing and fight for morality and decency. And I believe in Jewish Americans, and I believe that they will, and I believe that they will be an important part of fixing this. But right now, if you're calling people who are criticizing Israel anti-Semites, you're doing massive damage. It is deeply counterproductive, and yes, it is immoral. If you're not fighting back against this genocide, you're being deeply immoral. So that's what I have to say about that. And if that hurt your feelings, then I'm sorry, but I don't think that that's a fair ask to say, hey, Cenk, what are you getting all animated about 20,000 dead kids for? There's today, another 10 or 15 will starve. You know, out of the 111 that starved to death already, 81 of them are kids. So if you tell me not to be offended by that, but to be offended about your feelings, that is a very disturbing and immoral ask, and I won't tolerate it. No, I'm gonna try to stop this genocide in whatever little way I can every single day, and I hope all of you join me. All right, we have to take a break. Be right back. All right, let's go to Super Chat, guys. Titan writes in, during World War II, the world did not know about the Holocaust until it was at its end. I used to believe that the world would have come together to end it if they had known, even if they weren't already at war. I know now it to be untrue. Yeah, no, the world is not coming to help. The world is deeply selfish. The world is obsessed with money. Money, 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 money. So, and if you think that Israel does not have significant control over American and European governments, you're living on a different planet. I mean, imagine if it was a Muslim country doing this to Jewish people. Do you think the American government and all the European governments would have called it out already? Do you think they might have intervened? Do you think they might have bombed the living crap out of that Muslim country? Come on, if you say no, they're even-handed and Israel does not have more power in the West, you're lying on purpose, and it's kind of a weird thing to do. Okay, I get it. In the past, they had terrible anti-Semitic tropes, but today, not all Jews, not even close, but the government of Israel is doing those tropes. So take it up with them, not the people who are accurately describing what they're doing. Sir Nico the Great, we love Mamdani in New York City, can't wait to vote again. Look, man, I barely agree with any of his policies. I almost want to move to New York to vote for him, just because to be against these sons of bitches who are putting words in his mouth and trying to smear him in every way. Farwaz said, Team Jorge, an Israeli disinfo unit, claimed to meddle in 33 elections using bots, hacks, and AI, including 2 US ops. FBI docs hinted a deeper 2016 via Roger Stone. Why no mainstream media probe? And despite this info, is still protecting the corrupted. So, brother, I'll look into it. Now, that's just a listener who's saying that, and I'll look into it more. But if Israel wrongdoing, will the media look into it? The media will literally look away. They're like, oh, you've killed 20,000 children. I don't see it. Anti-Semite, anti-Semite, throw the political hand grenade, anti-Semite. So, no, they're not gonna look into any Israeli wrongdoing. In Liberty and Gun We Trust says, I'm libertarian and I voted for Trump, but I'm mostly disappointed. I don't like the authoritarian dictatorial garbage. I think there needs to be balance. The hyper-tribal crap doesn't get us anywhere. Here, brother. Clody3241 says, let's be honest, Trump did collude with the Russians. He literally asked the Russians to hack and spread information from the DNC email server. So I hear you, and he did literally ask for that in public. But ironically, that kind of proves that he wasn't colluding with the Russians. Because if he was colluding behind the scenes with the Russians, why would he have to ask them in public, right? So it's kind of an ironic defense of Trump there. All right, we'll be back. All right, back on TYT, guys. We only got time for a couple comments here, and then we're going to do a bonus episode where we have the breaking news on Paramount merger. We have Matt Walsh. Unfortunately, we're going to have to say something, and I don't want to even say positive about him. I can't get myself to say it. All right, and Candace Owens. Lady AF says, there's so many Jews for peace. I feel like I have to keep telling people and putting it out in the world so people don't hate Jews as they wake up. Yeah, thank you for doing that. That's important, and I appreciate you doing that. Box says Sharon is great. Chris the Nomad says Sharon's always so beautiful. DeMillie says Sharon always has a gorgeous glow about her.
Thank you.
So,
thank you. I don't even want to say. I have my PJs on the bottom, but okay. I'm sorry. It's too much information, but
okay.
I keep saying I'm going to clean up my act. I just appreciate people. I love this community.
All right, bonus episodes next.